for my babies. Children, today I'm back with the last series of the Gruffalo, and this book is the Gruffalo's Child. In this book, we get to know about how the Gruffalo's child ventures out in search of somebody. Yes, the big bad mouse. And let's see if she indeed comes face to face with the big bad mouse, and then what happens next. Let's find out. The Gruffalo's Child by Julia Donaldson and Axel Scheffler. Children, this is a special edition with a snowy play scene. The Gruffalo said that no Gruffalo should ever set foot in the deep dark wood. Why not? Why not? Because if you do, the big bad mouse will be after you. I met him once, said the Gruffalo. I met him long time ago. What does he look like, Dad? Tell us. Is he terribly big and terribly bad? I can't quite remember, the Gruffalo said. Then he thought for a minute and scratched his head. The big bad mouse is terribly strong, and his scaly tail is terribly long. His eyes are like pools of terrible fire, and his terrible whiskers are tougher than wire. One snowy night, when the Gruffalo snored, the Gruffalo's child was feeling bored. The Gruffalo's child was feeling brave, so she tiptoed out of the Gruffalo cave. The snow fell fast and the wind blew wild into the wood when the Gruffalo's child. Aha! Oh ho! A trail in the snow. Who is this trail and where does it go? A tail poked out of a log pile house. Could this be the tail of the big bad mouse? Out slid the creature. His eyes were small, and he didn't have whiskers. No, not at all. You're not the mouse. Not I, said the snake. He's down by the lake, eating Gruffalo cake. The snow fell fast, and the wind blew wild. I'm not scared, said the Gruffalo's child. Aha! Oh ho! Marks in the snow. Whose are these claw marks? Where do they go? Two eyes gleamed out of a treetop house. Could these be the eyes of the big bad mouse? Down flew the creature. His tail was short, and he didn't have whiskers of any sort. You're not the mouse. Too. Not I, but he's somewhere nearby eating Gruffalo pie. The snow fell fast, and the wind blew wild. I'm not scared, said the Gruffalo's child. Aha! Oh ho! A track in the snow. Whose is this track and where does it go? Whiskers at last, and an underground house. Could this be the home of the big bad mouse? Out slung the creature. His eyes weren't fiery. His tail wasn't scaly. His whiskers weren't wiry. You're not the mouse. Oh no, not me. He's under a tree drinking Gruffalo tea. It's all a trick, said the Gruffalo's child, as she sat on a stump where the snow laid piled. I don't believe in the big bad mouse. Here comes a little mouse out of his house. Not big, not bad, but a mouse at least. You'll taste good as a midnight feast. Wait, said the mouse. Before you eat, there's a friend of mine that you ought to meet. If you let me hop onto a hazel twig, I'll beckon my friend so bad and big. The Gruffalo's child unclenched her fist. The big bad mouse. So does he exist? The mouse hopped into the hazel tree. He beckoned, then he said, just wait and see. Out came the moon. It was bright and round. A terrible shadow fell onto the ground. Children, by seeing the shadow, the Gruffalo's child panicked. Who is this creature so big and strong? His tail and his whiskers are terribly long. His ears are enormous, and over his shoulder he carries a nut as big as a boulder. The big bad mouse, yelled the Gruffalo's child. The mouse jumped down from the twig and smiled. And the Gruffalo's child was a bit less bored. And the Gruffalo snored and snored and snored. Children, I have a very interesting activity lined up for you. That is the shadow activity, which is related to the story, The Gruffalo's Child. For this, we'll be requiring the characters of the Gruffalo's Child storybook. You can either cut them out after taking print out, or you can either draw and color them. It's going to be absolutely fine. And you need ice cream sticks as well. You can either put a sellotape behind the cutout or put glue. And furthermore, we'll be needing a frame for the screen. I had a frame basically, so I simply recycled it and I put butter paper. I glued it from all sides so it doesn't flip over. And children, for this we'll be needing either a torchlight or a study lamp. You'll be needing to shine the light from behind for it to cast shadows. Alright, so when we put the cutout in front of the screen and shining the light from behind, it will automatically start casting shadows. And this is superbly interesting. I would want you to try this at home. So for now, let's get started with our own story. My dear children, this is an exciting shadow activity, and I'm sure during the story you've noticed that Gruffalo told its child not to wander out in the woods. Yes, it was snowing, and after Gruffalo told its child not to venture out, he snored and he went off to sleep. But the Gruffalo's child wanted to see the big bad mouse. She was feeling a little brave, and she said to herself, I want to see the big bad mouse. The Gruffalo's child walked slowly along the snowy path, hoping to meet the big bad mouse. Suddenly, she met somebody. Was it the big bad mouse? No, it was the snake. The Gruffalo's child asked the snake, have you seen the big bad mouse? No. He must be eating Gruffalo cake. Gruffalo cake? The child was still feeling brave, and the snake slid away. The Gruffalo's child continued to walk. She walked past the entire snow path. And suddenly, she saw two eyes popping out of a tree house. The Gruffalo's child asked, did you see the big bad mouse? Children, what do you think? The owl said. Do it, do. No, he must be eating Gruffalo pie. Gruffalo pie? Said the Gruffalo child. But still, the Gruffalo's child felt brave. The owl slept in its treetop house, and the Gruffalo's child kept walking. Children, do you think this time the Gruffalo's child will be able to see the big bad mouse? Oh, who is this? It's the fox. The Gruffalo's child asked Mr. Fox, did you see the big bad mouse? He must be drinking Gruffalo tea. Saying this, the fox went into its underground house. The Gruffalo's child continued to walk. It thought it was a trick that none of them told him about the big bad mouse. He walked and he walked, and suddenly, children, he saw somebody. This looks looks like a good midnight feast. Saying this, the Gruffalo's child wanted to eat the mouse. Suddenly, the mouse turned around and told the Gruffalo's child, "Wait a minute! I want you to meet my friend." Quickly, the mouse hopped onto a hazel twig and he waited. Children, the moon rose up in the midnight sky, and there it threw a shadow on the snow. Children, whom do you think it is? Is it the big bad mouse? The Gruffalo's child saw the image and got scared. It saw the reflection on the snow and it said, "Who can it be? Oh, it's the big bad mouse." The Gruffalo's child was now not feeling so brave. She hurried off to home to sleep, where her father, the Gruffalo, snored and snored. Children, I'm sure you enjoyed the storybook of the Gruffalo's child, and with this we have come to the end of the Gruffalo series. And children, do try out the shadow activity at home, and I'm sure it's going to be super exciting, and I'll be very happy if you try it at home. And children, if at all you go out, do wear on your mask and use your hand sanitizers, and I will be back with some more exciting stories. Till then, you take care and God bless.